What's up, witches? I'm here. I know you were waiting and wondering, but I had to get myself right. I was still washing my hair. I got in the shower and it was just like, it was too good. It was too warm. The water was amazing. It was kind of hard to rush. And then I was like, oh shit, I'm supposed to go live. But I figured I would come live while I did this because I kept saying that I would. I kept saying that I would like go live while I was twisting my hair so I could talk about it and stuff. But the last couple times that I have been doing my hair, it's like I'm still figuring it out. Hey, Betty, how are you? Hi, Star. Oh, yes, you were early. Yes, yes. I hope you had time to prep yourself. You almost always have time with a live with me because do I typically start it at the time I say? Not quite. It's kind of a suggestion, you know? It's a time to get started. But what's up, guys? This is the time of day that we would usually be doing a BetterWitch podcast episode, followed by a Coven-only live Q&A. And I am still editing the next few videos for you guys and getting everything ready for BetterWitch to come back from its slightly longer than anticipated break. But there will definitely be new episodes next week and following. But I figured since we weren't going to have an episode and a Q&A today, it might be a good time for me to go live and do a little witchy Q&A while I twist up my hair, which, like I said, is a work in progress because I've never done this before. I have never done dreadlocks before. This is my first time doing this. It's definitely a journey that I've been on with my natural hair, starting off with going natural like a few years ago, and now being ready to lock it up. So I'm kind of just doing whatever. I watched like a few videos back in the day and yeah, I'm just making it happen. So if any of you have dreads or have dreaded your hair before, definitely let me know in the comments if I am doing something wrong or if you have any recommendations, any tips. It's been going okay. I started off with twists and they still pretty much look like twists. They're like just starting to look like locks a little bit now. And I think I'm doing fine. I really love it. It's so carefree and wonderful. I would say I'm trying to figure out how to get them to be like uniform because like I'm twisting them and like some parts of them are really thin and some parts are like fluffy. So I'm trying to figure out how to get like just a smooth, uniform lock throughout the whole thing. So if you know how to do that, let me know what I'm doing wrong, but it's like weirdly shaped. But otherwise, I think they look okay and I'm pretty happy. Oh, you used to do that with your ex, smoking and then redoing your hair. Yeah, this is definitely a great smoke activity for sure. I am not smoking cannabis regularly right now for various different reasons. So yeah, but that would definitely be something to add to this. But also some herbal smokes would be nice too, for sure. Yes. Yeah, this is my fancy head towel. This is from Kitsch. You guys, they gave me a few things. They gave me this head towel, which is like a, what do you call this? Microfiber towel, very absorbing, but it like has a button on it in the back. I don't know if you can see. And it twists up so you can easily tie up your hair, which is really nice. And then they also sent me these scrunchies, these super absorbing scrunchies. So I'll be using those as well to tie up my hair. So shout out to Kitsch. I'm pretty sure if you use the code Kitsch20, you still get 20% off. So definitely do that. Oh, really? He had really long ones? Yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Hey, JB. Hey, Nat. Welcome, witches. What's up? I'm excited. I think it's going pretty good. I started out long, which people have said is kind of dangerous. Like it's better to cut your hair short and then just start with like tiny little ones and let them grow. but I don't know. I just couldn't bring myself to do that. I clipped it, but I just couldn't bring myself to start all the way over. So, I've heard it could be a little more tricky starting from them already being long-ish, but so far so good. Hi, Ivy. Welcome. I don't have my contacts in, so if I'm like, because I can't see. Welcome. What's up, everyone? So I don't often do witchy Q&As. So I thought this might be a fun time to do that. Oh, I should get my towel. A fun time to do that. Because a lot of times we will be doing like live readings and stuff, and folks will have just general questions about witchcraft, about tarot, about magic, and I try to address them, but in the middle of a reading, it isn't always possible for me to like really go into depth about anything. But since I'm going to be here for a little minute while I do this, I figured now would be a good time. If you have any questions about witchcraft, Wicca, tarot, spirituality, or magic in general, I can sit and chat with you guys and answer questions. Probably the best way is if you do it with a super chat. That way I make sure to see the question. Otherwise, with my blind eyes, I don't know if I'll see them, but I'll try to see questions in the comments. But super chats are great because they're also a way to help support this channel and to help support HQ. Your super chat funds go into the pool that is supporting BronxWitch HeadQuarters, which is my witchy shop and work share space here in the Bronx, that I am growing to be the hub, to be the place to be for witches of all walks of life, to shop, to grow, to take classes, to teach classes, to have events, all of that stuff. I'm basically bringing my dream of wishing that there was a hangout spot for witches come to life. So your super chats support that, and I appreciate it. So if you have a question, drop it down with the super chat and I'll make sure to get to it. I shine, as Shayna said, do I have a 9-to-5 job? Technically, no, I have a 24-hour job owning BronxWitch HeadQuarters. So I don't clock in and clock out per se. I am physically in the shop Wednesday through Fridays, 11 to 7, and Saturdays, 11 to 5 officially, but I'm definitely there before that and after that and on closed days. And a lot of times I'm there on Tuesdays, but I was working from home today. So, but I used to be a bartender and bar manager for 15 years. He cut them. He didn't have a regular stylist. Yeah, I'm going without the stylist route, so hopefully that's not too crazy. I imagine as they get longer, maybe I will want a stylist, but I don't know. The whole point of me going natural was to get out of the hair salons and get out of like my dependence on stylists and stuff like that. So what do you do for Halloween, Samhain? That's a great question. JB said, do you have a seance update from your friend? Any spooky shit happen? Yeah. So I got to see her this weekend and she actually was disappointed. Her friends had like booked it. And so she was under the impression that it was going to be like a genuine spirit communication situation. So she came with all of her all the tools that I equipped her with and all the instructions, and she was ready to go, and she gets there and it turned out to be like some kind of gimmicky carnival type thing with some like made up chick hosting the thing. It turned out to just not be what she expected. So nothing really happened, and it was kind of more of just like like a haunted maze kind of thing. It wasn't like a legitimate medium conducting a seance. So she was a little bit disappointed with that. So that was a bummer for her, but it was okay because all the things she used just went on her ancestral altar and all the things I gave her and all that stuff. So, but yeah, that was kind of a bummer. It's annoying that we kind of have to compete a little bit. And that's why people, who are genuine practitioners like to spell magic with a K. Just anything that we can do to distinguish ourselves from like carnival tricks and, Wheel of Fortune type things. And it's annoying because you have people out there that don't mind like dressing up and playing the part, not really realizing or not caring that there's a whole community of people who legitimately do spirit communication, that legitimately practice witchcraft, that legitimately call themselves witches. And so if you aren't one of these things, to just play dress up and pretend like you are for a holiday or stuff like that, it's like, it kind of sucks to see something that you identify with like parodied or whatever. So yeah, her situation was not as exciting as she wanted. Okay, so very nice. So I see a lot of questions coming in. Definitely drop them as a super chat. I was talking earlier about the tendency for people to want to take from me and not give to me, especially those of you who are not Coven members. Leave a super chat and I'll make sure to get to your questions. And I think Ivy was asking what I do for Halloween and Samhain. Typically, it's a very quiet day for me. I might go out for Halloween, which hasn't been happening really since, I should probably start my hair, right? Which hasn't been happening since COVID. Because Halloween was canceled, like the big Halloween parade that we have in the city was canceled for COVID. And then in the years following, like it opened back up, but it, obviously not as many people are attending because it's a little, people are a little nervous about big groups and stuff. And so I think the Halloween parade is back and is happening, but I don't have any plans to go out. But back in the day, that was like a requirement for me. I had to go out. I was like, I must be in these streets. I must dress up. This year, I'm going to be coordinating volunteer tarot readings for one of the local neighborhood park organizations called Friends of Four Parks. They're a local organization that coordinates like park cleanups and flower plantings and tree walks and things like that. And they have a yearly Halloween extravaganza for the neighborhood families. So I'm helping to coordinate free tarot readings as a little booth at that event that's happening on the 29th. And then on Halloween evening, I will have my regular dumb supper with my husband and I. So a dumb supper, if you don't know what it is pretty common amongst Wiccans. And it's basically a silent dinner held in honor of the ancestors. So you cook ancestral food items, whatever resonates for your ancestry. And you set up a formal dining table for them. You might put their pictures on the table, candles and other things to call them in. And then you set the table for them and for yourself and anybody else who is attending. And you begin the ritual by calling in the ancestors. You might call on specific ancestors by name, perhaps people that have passed in the last year and things like that. And then once you feel their presence, everyone goes silent and you have the entire meal in silence. You don't ask, people to pass the bread. People usually, you use hand signals and things like that. But you have the meal quietly in silence. I usually have very low lighting and mostly just candles lit. And the idea is you are holding space and creating a place of stillness for them to come and actually partake in the meal with you. And some people will set like a whole table for them. Some people will just set one seat at the table for the ancestors that no one's allowed to sit at. And then, and then you go from there. And yeah, you just have the meal in silence and allow yourself to just be in honor of the ancestors and let yourself experience anything if you do from them. And then, yeah, that's like what I'm probably going to do on Monday since Samhain is on a Monday this year. So I'm going to do that probably Monday early in the evening. And then I'm thinking of coming live later in the evening to do ancestral readings for you guys. And that'll be a live similar to this. And you will super chat and give me the names, like give me your name and your question. And I'll be pulling cards and specifically asking for ancestors to step forward and deliver messages. So yeah, I'm trying to decide yet whether or not that's going to be a publicly available live or if it's just going to be for the coven. It is probably just going to be for the coven, just heads up. Just because that's a more private and intimate type of reading than like the collective readings that I usually do that are for everybody. So for everyone's privacy, and so people can ask whatever they want and whatever messages can come through, that'll probably be just for coven. And coven members will super chat and receive specific messages from their ancestors. And I'll be using specific cards for those messages. So I think that's what I'm going to do this year. Thank you, JB. Thank you. Thank you for using the super chat just to show love and donate. I really appreciate that so much. Yes, Ivy, a dumb supper is so fabulous. It's a really beautiful experience. It's really nice to just like, you know, one of the nicest things that I feel that people can do for each other is to like cook for each other, you know, and serve people food. I think that's one of the kindest, most welcoming things that you can do for a person. You know, I think that's why we take it so seriously when people come over, to be like, offer them something when they come over, because that's a way of really saying like, I welcome you. Like I will break off what I am having to share with you. So a dumb supper to me is just like a very genuinely welcoming way to say, I appreciate you. And people always ask, what do you do with the food? What happens, et cetera, et cetera. If you have a particular tradition that you're a part of, there may be teachings about what to do with offerings and things like that. For some people, the offering that you give to a deity or to an elevated spirit becomes blessed and it should be consumed. But usually for things like this, I would say you would just leave it out for an appropriate amount of time. So maybe like overnight, and then dispose of it the next day. I compost. So that has helped to alleviate like all of my guilt about throwing away food or anything, because I know it's going into the compost bin, and then I pick up compost from the same garden that I send my compost to. So it's pretty cool because I know that my food scraps, like a year later, are now the compost that I'm getting from them for my plants. So if you don't compost, I would look into it. It's pretty easy to do. They have like tabletop compost machines now. So you can take food that you gave as an offering and turn it into soil. And if you have like issues about like quote unquote wasting food, then that might be a way to help alleviate that feeling. You know? So, but thank you, JB, for reminding people. That is something that I'm going to be talking about probably a little bit more, but not a lot, because I'm probably going to just be like changing things a little bit. I was talking a little bit in, hey, Lauren Berg, what's up? I was talking a little bit in the last collective reading about how I feel like over the years, I have made a lot of videos. I've made a lot of content. I've gone live for literally like hundreds of hours at this point. And I personally feel like there is a core community of people that really appreciate that and show that, whether by engaging in like the things that I do, commenting, chatting, you know, doing all the like social media type stuff. And then there are coven members that join and you know, pay a membership to be a Coven member and all that stuff. And then there's like this much, much, much bigger group of people that just like watch the material and then just keep it pushing. And I can't fault anybody for that, because that's how YouTube is designed. It's designed to be a platform where you get free information. So I can't really be mad that people will like just subscribe, take the free information and go, because that's what this platform is for. But despite knowing that that's what the platform is for, I can't ignore the way in which that just exhausts me. I get so many like questions about things that I've already talked about, you know, requests to explain things that are like detailed in the descriptions or on my websites. Like, it's just a lot of like taking. It's a lot of like not thinking about me and just being like, I'm just going to take this information, or I'm just going to reach out for this information, and like not put in any effort myself to like figure it out, find it out, or be an active member of the community. And I want to tighten that up a little bit. So I am probably going to be making a lot more of the things that I post on YouTube only available to Coven members. Because even so, like, look, the folks who are super chatting right now are Coven members, right? So you guys like are already contributing so much, and then you show up to lives and you give more. And like, for you guys, I want to give the world. You know, I want to make more videos for you. I want to do more lives with you. I want to do more instructional stuff. You guys have been asking me for videos on black salt, on graveyard dirt, on casting certain spells, and things like that I want to make for you. But they take a lot of energy and time for me to make videos the way that I want to. I don't necessarily have like a professional setup and stuff. So even just like right now, I'm like lit with like lamps that I moved around, and just doing that is like work and time and effort to try to figure out how to make the thing that I'm putting out there a good enough quality that you all will enjoy it. And I love putting that effort into the things that I make for my Coven members, because you guys say thank you, and you take the time to show the appreciation and reshare things, or drop in the comments how much you like something, or do super chats, or do those things. And other people don't. They just kind of hang around and just take. So a lot of my material moving forward, I think, is going to be just for the Coven members, which is probably super counterintuitive. And who knows what that's going to do. There's like 15,000 subscribers on this page, and they all might leave when they realize that like, I'm not going to just make everything public anymore. But that's just has to be a risk I'm willing to take, because those 15,000 subscribers, they don't mean anything to me if they're just 15,000 like vacuums of energy, if that makes sense. Like, I know that I'm supposed to care about subscribers and followers, and the more that I have is supposed to mean something. But as this continues, all I'm learning is that the more people that you have following you, the more people you have energetically just sucking you dry. And if all those people are not pouring back into you, then you get depleted really bad, really quickly. So as much as I appreciate the 15,000 people who have decided to subscribe to this channel, if all you did was subscribe and just take this free information and have never done anything to reciprocate that energy in some way, like whatever the way, liking, sharing, it does not have to be monetary, but just reciprocating in some way, I can't keep making material for you of hundreds of hours of videos that you can go back and watch, and none of those videos will go away. None of the lives that are available will go away. They'll all be there. But the new material that I want to create, I think what's been blocking me from creating it is this feeling of I'm creating it, I'm putting all of this into it to get so little in return from people that I know are benefiting from it, because I can see how many people are watching, and I can see how long you're watching, and I can see exactly when you turn off a video and all that good stuff. And so I know that people are benefiting from the things that I'm sharing and are okay with just benefiting and leaving. And I wish that I could say that just watching the video is enough, and it just isn't. It just isn't. And I thought it would be, you know, not knowing much about the YouTube world in the beginning. It was like, yes, people are watching. But it's very disproportionate. So I've got to focus on the people who are telling me very clearly, we appreciate what you do and we want to contribute and we want to see more. And I want to give you guys more. So the ancestral readings will probably be just for the coven. And moving forward, that may be the case for like all of my videos, honestly, aside from like maybe collective readings. That's for the world, and I'll just put those out there. But I think moving forward, I might have to just do everything for the coven, you know? Energy vampires, yeah. And, you know, no offense to anybody, but that really, the internet really encourages that. Thank you guys. I appreciate the support with that. I think it's important, you know, and I hope that people understand where I'm coming from. There are so many other ways to engage with me, Instagram and all of that are free and all of that stuff. But yeah, I shouldn't be, basically it comes down to this. I shouldn't be giving my coven less because I'm trying to give more to the general public, basically. You know what I'm saying? So moving forward, just heads up about that. Now, the beauty is joining the coven, there are 3 different tiers. Depending on how involved you want to be, you can go all the way up to the top tier and join the book club and meet on Zoom every month and all of that stuff. Or you can join at the supporter level for $2.99 and join the Facebook group and still get all the videos and all that stuff. So it's not a huge commitment, but I just feel like, quite frankly, I have not valued my own time and energy. And then I can't undervalue my own time and energy and then be kind of mad if other people undervalue it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm putting everything out for free. I can't be mad if people are like, yeah, let me take that for free. Like, yes, that makes sense. I'm the one giving it away for free. So if I want people to understand that the material that I share has a much higher value than that, then I have to require that before I share it. And I think that, to be clear, knowledge should be free. I believe 100%. And I believe that all the knowledge that I share, I give freely. What is not free or should not be free is my time and my energy. And I've been giving that away for free with the knowledge. And I realize now that, you know what, I need to separate the two. The knowledge is free, but my time and energy are not. The things that I share can, in a lot of cases, be obtained in other ways. If you want me to take the time and energy to explain it, teach it, show it, then that has to be compensated. So just a heads up about that. Moving into November and stuff like that. More and more videos might be coven only. So if you feel like, oh, she's not posting any YouTube videos, not the case. It's just that I'm posting them only for the members. And if you're not a member, you might not be getting posts from YouTube because I'm not sure if they notify you. Okay, hold on. I don't want to miss this. You guys are typing good stuff. Oh, also Betty had a super chat question. Thank you so much, Betty. I know I have most of the tools for spells or rituals. I do my homework and prepare. And when it comes to any advice, when it comes time to do them, I freeze up. Any advice? Yeah, well, first of all, I would start with that first part. I have most of the tools for spells or rituals. No, you don't. Because if you think that you need tools for spells and rituals, then you are looking in the wrong direction. You only actually need one thing for spells or rituals. That is yourself. You need a clear understanding of what you are doing, why you are doing, and what it is that you are trying to do. That's the number one most important tool that you need to work magic or to conduct a ritual, quite frankly. Because even though rituals might be formalized and they might have certain tools or certain steps, etc., you have to ask yourself why am I doing this ritual? Why am I doing this ritual? What you'll realize when you ask yourself the why is that the items that are listed as recommended in the ritual are tools that can help you do that, but are not required to help you do that. So the freezing up that's happening is happening because you're too focused on these tools, quote unquote, that are needed, or the steps or the words. Throw it out. If you have a spell or a ritual that you want to do, let's start with a ritual. Spells maybe sometimes require a little bit more nuance there because you are building something energetically and you need to understand the different components to what you're doing. But a ritual is more broad. A ritual is something that you are doing to accomplish something like honoring a season, honoring a deity, etc. So ask yourself, why am I doing this ritual? That's the most important thing. Read through the details of the ritual and then throw it away. Put the paper away and then go do it. And just do it. The freezing up is coming from trying to replicate what somebody else did and wrote down for you. And if you're doing that, then you're missing the point. Magic and ritual are not about copying what someone else is doing to a T. It's about accomplishing the same goal. So you've got to ask yourself about the why. Why am I doing this ritual? What is the goal that I am trying to accomplish? That person accomplished that goal with this white candle and this yellow tablecloth, but that may be different for me. You know what I'm saying? Let me know if that makes sense. I can explain that more. But I think that the freezing up that you guys experience in general comes from way too much focus on the what and the how and not the why. You know, what was the tool? What was the word? How did she do this? How did he put that? That's individual. That's not nearly as important as why did he or she do this? Why did they use this thing? Why am I doing this ritual? When you stay focused on the why for you, why you're doing that thing, then you can let go of your attachment to doing things the exact same way as someone else, if that makes sense. Yeah, why? And you guys are going to get tired of me with the why because I say that a lot when people ask questions that start with, should I do this? Could I replace this? What is the stop? If you start off with asking yourself the question of why, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be able to come up with an answer before you need to ask some other witch how they did something X, Y, or Z. And we don't, I think we new witches don't do that as much, understandably, because we get caught up in the what and the how, because there's lots of what's, there's lots of items and lots of tools, and there's lots of how-tos and how you could do that and all that stuff. And that can guide you, but that's not the most important question. The most important question is why? Why was this tool used? Why was this ingredient used? Why am I doing this ritual? Why was this thing placed here or there? Understand that. And then you can use other people's lists of tools or incantations or whatever as a guide. And you can stick to them as closely or as not closely as makes sense to you. But that stuff is secondary to the why question. Yes. Thank you, Laurenberg, sharing some advice on the whole creator thing. Thank you, Linda. I've definitely been giving away so much for free. So it's been hard. Yeah, Star, I know that Patreon is an option. I never really got into it. And then when I started to look into it, YouTube created its membership tiers, which functions similar to Patreon. And I was already here on YouTube with everyone and didn't want to have too many platforms and things going on. So the beauty of the YouTube membership is it does function very similar to Patreon. I just don't use it as much as I should, in the sense that I generally tend to make everything publicly available, and then I make extra stuff available just to the members. And I think I need to reevaluate that and go in the other direction, where most of the things that I post are for the members. And occasionally I will go live or do something for the public. I was actually thinking, when I post videos to the Coven members, I might let the Coven members vote on whether or not I make the video public. Would that be fun, Coven members? You guys get to control whether or not I share it with the public. Like maybe I make a video and it's just like too juicy, it's too good, like the world needs to know, and we'll decide to go ahead and like make it public. But I was thinking that might be fun. Yeah, Shonda, similar to Betty, thinking about the tools. Yes. Oh, I love the Mala Beach. Shout out. Yes, that is absolutely correct, Laurenberg. So many spell books and ritual books are how-to guides, and that's great. How-to is useful, but unfortunately, they don't emphasize how important it is to have your own relationship with your ancestors, your own relationship with your higher self and your inner child, knowing who you are, trusting and loving who you are, so that you can ask the question of, why do I need witchcraft in the first place? Why am I doing this? They usually assume that you've already done that inner work, and that's maybe an incorrect assumption. And I think especially nowadays, where people are picking up witchcraft because the internet has made it cool, not enough of you are doing that inner work of asking yourself why you even need this path in the first place. You know, why do you need witchcraft? What in your life calls for this? What in your life is happening that you can't address with therapy or a change of career or better choices? And that's a bummer, because if you actually ask yourself that question, a lot of you who are interested in witchcraft will find out that you really have no need for it. There's really no need for it in your life. It's just something that you find attractive and cool. And that sometimes is a hard pill to swallow, because sometimes when you want to be a part of a community, it's hard to really ask yourself whether or not you are really going to have a benefit to being a part of it, and whether or not you benefit the community by being a part of it. That's another question that I don't think enough new witches ask themselves. Like, how are you contributing to the health, the safety, the longevity of the practice of the craft with what you're doing right now? Is reading a bunch of books and following a bunch of witchy social media pages really doing anything for the health, the wholeness, the longevity of the practice of the craft? Are you really contributing to this community, or are you just kind of enjoying the coolness it makes you feel to like be a part of it or feel a part of it? Unpopular thoughts, probably. But those are the types of things that I think about, because as a practitioner for a very long time, it surprises me how difficult it is for me to find other practitioners who are in a similar space. And that's because I think a lot of people who are part of the greater witch community, or want to be a part of it, or consider themselves a part of it, whatever, are not actually doing the inner work that it takes to really become a witch and tap into that part of themselves. It's more of an external identity. You know, like, I want to be a part of this group. So I call myself this because then that means I'm a part of this group. And the term witch was not as cool when I was young as it is now. So for me, it really wasn't something I could call myself to be cool. It was the opposite. It was very uncool. It got me into a lot of trouble. It made me seem very different. It caused the mean girls in my college, my freshman year, to print out pages from my online diary and post them around the school because I talked about being a witch, and they thought it would be funny to make fun of me. So for me, that identification has come as a result of a genuine exploration of myself and realizing that I have been a witch since the moment I came into creation, and that I just happened to tap into that earlier maybe than others. So yeah, I don't think other people are necessarily doing that introspective work. And I'm going to be annoying because unlike maybe other witches online who are going to entertain your desire to just have information about what to do with this and how to do this, like, I'm just not that girl. I'm not that girl. I'm not that witch. If you are a witch that is a part of my community, then I expect you to be serious about your exploration and to take that identification as a witch seriously. It's more than just reading books and, I don't know, wearing pentagrams for me. So it's hard for me to talk to anybody who is not coming at it from a similar place. I think that's why I get annoyed easily. So forgive me. Sometimes I get questions that make it perfectly obvious to me that a person really is not trying to actually embody that identity or discover that part of themselves. They're just kind of doing stuff because other people are doing stuff. And no judgment, no offense. It hasn't been my reality. So it's hard for me to entertain that, honestly. Okay, JB asked a question. Do you think the New Age movement is dangerous? Thank you. I was kind of touching on that, but I did a video called Everyone's a Witch Nowadays or something like that. And I'm like not doing this hair. And I talk about why I'm actually very much here for the coolification of witches and witchcraft. And the reason why I'm okay with it, the New Age movement, if we want to call it, the reason I'm okay with it is because I want to live in a world where it's not dangerous for me to do the things that I do. Right now at BronxWitch HQ, the building that we're in, there is a small coalition of older Christians who are unhappy about my business being there. And they have been complaining to the super about my door being open, about my incense, about me playing music, and things like that. And the super was very honest with me. He was like, they're only complaining because of the type of business that it is. He was like, I'm sorry I have to bring this to you, but it's my job to at least tell you in case they go to building management about it. But they've been complaining about you. And I guess a couple of the old folks actually came to him and were like, do you think she's doing work on us in there? Is she doing anything on us in there? Which is just like, fuck you. Like, are you serious? Who are you? Like the idea that you think that you're important enough for me to do anything to you is so fucking ignorant and stupid and annoying. But besides that, it's a danger to my livelihood because HQ is inside of a commercial first floor. So we are not on we don't have a storefront, basically. So you have to come into the lobby to come to our building, our door. And keeping the door open, having incense and music playing is how I let people know that we're open and how people find us. So I can't, it's not cool that this group of people, because of their ignorant, conservative ass views about witches and witchcraft, could force me to have my door closed during business hours and potentially impact my sales and my business. So that's why I'm okay with the New Age movement. I'm okay with spirituality becoming popularized, because I want to be able to say, I'm a witch. I have a shop where we have tarot readings, and not have people's ignorance get in the way of my success, basically. So I want more people to be exposed to these practices, and I want it to become a more normal thing for people to have altars in their home, for them to start their day with prayer and meditation, for them to track the seasons of the earth and of the sun, and to be in connection with nature, as opposed to doing everything in opposition to nature. The more that our connection to nature grows, the better things will be for our environment. The problems that we have with oil and with tech and all these things are all problems because we keep fighting nature instead of being one with nature. And these practices becoming popular helps to bring people into that fold. So I am grateful for that. The downside is what I was talking about, is that you get a lot of people that think it's aesthetically pleasing or find some type of coolness about it. And that's totally, great for them, but it makes it hard for me to figure out how to make content, because that's not my audience. And unfortunately, that's the bulk of the subscribers that I have. They're not really serious. They're not really witches, really. They buy the books and follow the pages and get the crystals and wear the charms. But that's about it. And that is soul sucking for those of us who actually practice and want to show others, not even teach others, because it's not about practicing like me, but showing others how to develop your own practice and how to get serious about that. Yeah, it's like a battle a little bit. So that's the downside, but I think it is better. Witchcraft definitely teaches you discipline. Thank you for the recommendation. Lauren Berg is recommending Energy Essentials for Witches and Spellcasters by Maya Ohm. Guys, also shout out to Lauren Berg. Lauren Berg fell in love with the book of, I'm going to get the title wrong, but is it the Book of Magical Writing by Lisa Basset, I believe? It was a used book, I think, that Lauren Berg got at the shop. And Lauren Berg loved it so much that she bought 3 copies for the shop. That's what I'm talking about. That's an energy exchange. She got this book at the shop, loved it. It made a difference in her ability to write her own spells. So she's paying that forward by providing 3 more copies of the book, which I'm putting on the used bookshelf, so that 3 more people can get this book at a discounted rate. And that is community. That's what I want to build. That's what I want to see. Yes, it helps the shop, but it also helps the next person. And shout out to you, Lauren Berg. I appreciate that. Yeah, Lauren Berg said in Ghana, witch is used as an insult. So it was never something I can speak open about. Exactly. When someone's calling somebody a witch, it's not often a good thing. So the New Age movement is good in the sense that I'm hoping that it's bringing us to a world where, people can say I'm a witch and not have people be like, oh, you're dangerous. It's like, get the fuck out of here. You're dangerous. But yeah, the downside, I guess, is trying to wade through to find the people who are genuinely seeking. And that's why I called the top level of coven membership the seekers, because that's what I consider myself. And I don't find as many seekers out there. Lots of witches, not as many seekers. So Good night, Linda. Thanks for being here. Maybe you should do something to shut them up. Well, see, now they already think I'm doing stuff to them. So they're probably, you know, the work is done, right? Star, please do. Please do. That would definitely help. The more people that come in and out of the shop, the better, especially with people thinking that, you know, something weird or negative or scary is going on in there. Anytime, if you are near the shop, all you're going to hear coming from inside is laughter and chatting. Because when people come in, I'm the one in the shop. So we chat, we talk. You know, I answer all your questions about the products you're looking at. I help refer things, and we just have a good time while you're in there. And that doesn't always happen because there are days where I have no customers, you know, no one comes by. So all I have is just sort of like pagan music playing in the background and incense lit. So people walking by are like, what's going on in there? But when it's active and people are coming in and out and happy smiling faces, it helps to dispel the fear that something mysterious is happening there. So you coming by is huge. It's a huge way to pour energy, positive energy into the space. So I would love to see you. Come on by. Right. Yeah. Lots of lively business. The Magical Writing Grimoire by Lisa Marie Bazile. Yep. So shout out to you, Lauren Berg. That's so awesome. Yeah, we have amazing things to the end of the month. Everything is 10% off for Samhain. So come on by. I've got these amazing crystal bath bombs. They're skull bath bombs, and they have a whole crystal in the forehead. So after the bath bomb melts in your bath, you get a big crystal. The black ones are pumpkin spice with obsidian, and then the blue ones are lemongrass with labradorite. And I'm really excited for those because whatever you guys don't buy, I end up using. So I want to see what the black one looks like in the bath. It's probably so amazing. You can find all that information out on the website, bronxwitch.com, here at Fem Podcast. And links to that are in the description box. All right. And here at Funk Podcast, you have lots of questions, my dear. You'd probably be a great candidate for someone who might want a super chat to make sure they get addressed. Thank you, Ginger Snap. Oh, I appreciate that very much. All right, let's see here. Let's get going here. Do you guys want to see my products? This is not a commercial. I am not sponsored, but I didn't know what I was doing with the dread situation. So I was like, let me get a brand that is specifically made for this. This is a Black woman owned dread brand called Peculiar Roots. And she created a brush for brushing your dreads, which like fascinated me, but that's how she got my attention. I didn't get the brush because I don't actually have dreads yet. So there's nothing to brush yet. If I brush my hair now, then they'll just come out. I have to wait until they're fully locked up to start brushing them. So I didn't get the brush, but I got a few of her products. I got the activated charcoal shampoo, and I got this flaxseed mousse. And the mousse I haven't used yet. I'm going to use that when I get to the point where I'm like ready to start styling, but I just figured I'd grab it now. I am using this aloe vera locking gel, just a teeny tiny bit when I do the twist. So I'll be using that today. And then this stuff is the jazz. I have run out of it immediately. I have to get a bigger thing. This is the Rose Water Refresher Spray. Ooh, ciao. This is good stuff. I love rose water. I use it on my face to moisturize. So as a hair moisturizer, it makes perfect sense, but it's rose water and wheat protein. And basically like in between your hair washes, you just spritz it you know, from time to time, but it just like adds moisture back into your hair. And now that it's wintertime, I really need to do that because my hair dries out really bad. So that's been really useful for in between. I definitely should have gotten the full size, but yeah. So shout out to Peculiar Roots. So far, so good. I mean, I have nothing to compare it to because I've never jetted before. So if you've used this brand and you're like, it's the worst, you know, let us know in the comments. But so far, so good. And then I like to use this Neo, like tea tree, rosemary, mint, scalp and hair strengthening oil. And I will actually put this on my scalp before I wash my hair. It's all nice and tingly. And then I'll do it again after I'm done. But yeah, that's what I'm using. And this is just water because my hair dries out really easily, like I said. Okay. Yes, thank you. Okay, does anybody here have dreads? Because first of all, don't judge me. I literally don't actually know what I'm doing, like at all. Like at all. But I'm doing it. So basically, I've just been doing a little twist action thing. And then just like kind of twisting all the hair all the way down. And then I clipped the first row to my shirt, which was a little trick I saw someone do online. Okay, and then the next rows will be clipped onto this, and then eventually I can take it off my shirt. But this is how I've been doing it. Okay, if it's totally wrong, to hell with it. Because I don't know any other way. And I'm really just doing this intuitively. And I'm really enjoying that. I'm really enjoying that. I have to tell you, like, so the dread thing was a spiritual decision. In a lot of ways. I started going natural like 4 years ago, I want to say, where I just decided like, okay, no more chemically treating my hair, no more blow drying or straightening, flat ironing, like just none of that stuff, and no more wigs and weaves. Well, first I started with no more weaves because when you weave your hair and you have like some of your hair left out, you have to chemically straighten the part of your hair that you leave left out so it matches, you know, the weave hair, in case you didn't know. And so I started first with like, okay, no more weaves. All right. And then that changed to, so I was doing no weaves, but I was wearing wigs. Okay. And I figured, oh, this would be a great idea because this is like a protective style, you know, I will braid my own hair and I'll just wear them under wigs, right? But I fell victim to the, you know, what lace mentality of trying to make my wigs look like they were my actual hair, which was the mistake. Like if I wore wigs and was totally confident with the fact that I was wearing a wig and was okay with just saying like, yeah, this is a wig, it would have been a different story, but I wasn't. I was self-conscious and I didn't want it to be obvious that I was wearing wigs. So I would buy these lace front wigs and I'd be gluing them down and coloring the front of my hair and like doing all this stuff to try to make the wig look like it wasn't a wig, which is like, that's so stupid. Like, it's a wig. but yeah, that's what I did. And of course, that led to, hold on, I think two of my dreads have grown together. That led to me needing to do a lot of repair because I did a lot of damage to my hair trying to hide my, hide the fact that it was a wig. So I ended up totally damaging my edges, and like they've grown back now. Shout out to sea moss. Thanks to eating sea moss all the time, I was able to like strengthen my nails and grow my edges back from the damage I'd done over the years. But these are like really stuck together. But I couldn't keep up with the wigs anymore. I was like, I'm doing too much damage. This is beside the point. The whole point was supposed to be to have a protected style and protect my natural hair. And all I'm doing is doing a bunch of damage to my natural hair with these wigs. So I stopped with the wigs. And then I was like, well, if I'm going to stop with the wigs, I'm not going back to weaves, and I'm not going back to relaxers and chemically treating my hair. So what are we going to do? I guess we're just going to have to say, you know what? We're going natural. We're going to do it. So that's what I did. I started going natural, rocked my little froze and my twists and all that. I wear head wraps quite often, so it really wasn't that big of a deal for me because my hair was wrapped up a lot of the times anyway. So I would just wear my hair in twists and it was fine. And then I started to like have a moment. Oh, what's this? Started to have a moment where I was like, there's another step to this. Do you have a schedule of time of year you restock your teas and smoke blends? No, thank you for super chatting that question, JB. Not necessarily, no. I try to restock them just whenever they're low. Like once a month or so, I do like a really big restock, but throughout the month when I'm noticing things are running low, I just try to restock them when I can. So if anything is sold out, just keep an eye on it. It will be back usually within a couple of weeks at the most, because I just have to get the herbs that I need and then I put them back on there. Sometimes I will do a seasonal blend that will only be offered during that time of the season. So like Solstice is my summer blend, and it's made with calendula, which was in abundance for the last few weeks, but will be probably done very shortly if the farm has any more. So calendula like won't be available during the winter months. But other than that, most of my teas and smoke blends are available year round, and you just want to just keep an eye on the listing for when it comes back. Also, if you haven't joined the mailing list yet, that would be a good idea. You can join the mailing list for headquarters or BronxWitch, either one. I tend to send out emails when I do like a big restock, or there's something that people have really been waiting for a while. I will send out an email and let people know about that. Like the pre-ordering winter medicine, I think I sent out an email about. Those are, I would say, about halfway sold out, in case anybody is planning on or interested in my Oxymel potions. Cold and cough and lung tonic will be available for shipping during the first or second week of November. The medicines are being made right now, and they're available for pre-order. And there's about, I think last I checked, there's about like half of the pre-orders still available. So I wouldn't wait too long, but they're still both available. Last I checked. My herbal potions are definitely seasonal because they're really just for the winter. I take herbs and roots that are harvested in the late summer, fall time. So like now. And then sometimes, I don't know if I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to see what's going on with the farm, but they sometimes towards the end of October will have a last harvesting of the roots. So after all of the plants have been harvested through the summer and the early part of the fall, and all the top levels of the plants have been taken away, in the end of the fall, they will harvest a certain percentage of the roots to make available and leave a certain percentage of the roots behind to grow for next year. So you never really know what's going to be available, how much, how the maturity of the plant for the potency of the medicine, etc. But I'll be keeping an eye out on the root situation. And if I'm able to get some good fresh roots, then I'll do another round of winter medicines that'll be available in like January. But then after that, I typically don't do oxymels throughout the other parts of the year. But who knows, that might change. The reason I haven't is because I feel like people are paying more attention to medicine in the wintertime. People are thinking about, getting sick and stuff like that more in the wintertime than in the spring. There are beautiful spring flowers and plants that make lovely medicine as well, but I don't feel like people really think about it as much. But every year the demand for the winter medicines is going up. So, the thing about herbal products I have learned in herbal medicine in general is that just like with the type of witchcraft that I like to teach, people need to be doing a certain level of personal growth and exploration themselves. And herbal medicine is for people who are kind of doing that, like herbal medicine is really not for everyone. It requires that you be paying attention to your body, that you be in touch with it, that you be willing to experiment a little bit with different types of herbs, and understand that like you may not get a quick fix, or you may need to temper your expectations, or be willing to take something 2 or 3 times a day instead of once, and things like that. So it's really not something to like force on people. So as it naturally grows in popularity, then I will, consider making medicines at other times of the year. But for the most part, people really think about their health more in the wintertime, in cold season and stuff like that. So. Do they get the discount as well? Who? When you are locking, you avoid washing your hair frequently. It would take much longer to lock. What you do is clean your roots. You're doing good. I was also twist to the right and palm roll the loose hairs down the lock. Okay. Hold on. Oh, you're back, Linda. Hey. Yay. Okay. Other lockers are in here. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I don't wash my hair very frequently. Since I'm starting the locks, I already kind of had like a rotation with my twists, but I've been washing it's been like every 3 weeks or so. And you said twist to the right and palm roll. Yeah, I'm trying to get the palm roll technique down. I feel like I do that part wrong. I don't feel like I'm doing the right direction or whatever. Nothing seems to be happening. I kind of have just been wrapping it around a little bit till I get to the bottom, which may be totally wrong, but that's what I'm trying. I really would like to get a replacement of my last order of them. So freaking good. Yeah. Any muscle pain remedies, lung and cough tonic. No, the tonics are regular price. They're just $16. And wait, am I doing that right? Yeah, wait, what? Hold on. Yeah, okay. Sometimes I forget which direction I'm supposed to be twisting in. I'm like, what? Doing my best, folks. Doing my best here. Doing my best. This one down here too. Yeah, Betty, I know. I have to I am going to be looking into, it's just, it's just me. I have this long list of things that I want to do for the shop and stuff that I'm going to try to do. And one of them is looking into setting up with FedEx or UPS. I've heard from a couple of folks that they use like UPS International and it's better for them. So I do want to revisit the idea of international shipping because I do want to offer it. It's just so expensive and complicated right now. Palm roll works as your hair gets longer. Okay. Who was it that was asking questions earlier? Hierophant Podcast. Are they still here? I don't know if this is like Instagram where you can see who's live. I don't know if I click on something, if it'll show me who's in the lives. But I think Hierophant Podcast was asking some questions. And I just want to see if they're still here. Okay, Hierophant Podcast, good. Were you able to find the information you were looking for on the website? Yes, you're still here. Okay, good. Were you able to find the information you were looking for on the website? We're asking about hours, location, all that good stuff. Want to make sure you got to the right place. My sister's learning tarot and she practiced with me and I got all major arcana. What does it mean when you get all major arcana on a tarot reading? Typically, it means that really big life changes are happening or the events or messages that are being delivered are in relation to really big life transformations, life events. The major arcana are usually associated with some of the bigger stages of our lives. It's sometimes called the fool's journey through life. As you go through the major arcana, the fool kind of takes a journey through the different ups and downs that we experience in life, birth, death, creation, new beginnings, love, etc. So usually major arcana cards are related to those bigger areas of our lives, whereas the minor arcanas are more sort of day-to-day occurrences and detailed information about specific moments rather than the bigger shifts. Yes, you did. Good. Yes, please come and visit. Absolutely. I would love it. And thank you so much for going to the website to get that information and hopefully understanding why I simply cannot use any more of my energy to repeat things that I have made conveniently available for folks because I took so much time and energy to make it conveniently accessible for folks. I have to conserve my energy as best I can. So I appreciate you going to the website to get that info for yourself. Much love. I appreciate that so much. Yay, Betty. See you Saturday. Good night. Blessed be. See you Saturday, book club. And I don't know if you guys know, but the Coven has 3 levels of membership. And one of them, the top level of membership, is the Seeker level. And the Seeker level is the book club level. So if I have any book nerds in the building, anybody who is interested in reading books on witchcraft, magic, tarot, etc., with other like-minded seekers, people who are also growing in their craft and their practice, you might consider joining us. We read 1 book every 2 months. And that way you only have to read a half a book a month, which is a pretty good pace, I think. And we meet every month on the 4th Saturday of the month at 7 p.m. Eastern on Zoom to discuss that half of the book. We meet for like an hour and a half. And it's great. We get to see how we feel about the book, share our favorite points, do a little show and tell. Sometimes the books we read are spell books or craft books where we are actually making things. So we might do show and tells and show each other what we've made from the book, etc. So definitely if you're into reading witchy books and would like to do so with a community, you might consider joining us. And since we're talking about medicine making, I want to remind you guys, aside from the pre-order for the winter medicine that I have made, if you would like to learn how to make herbal medicine for yourself, I am teaching a how to make fire cider workshop this month, coming up in a couple weeks, actually just in a week now, on Thursday, October 27th from 5 to 7 p.m. We will be gathering at BronxWitch HeadQuarters, and I will be teaching you how to make the traditional herbal medicine fire cider. You are going to get to make your own batch. You're going to make a 16-ounce batch of your own. Everything will be provided to you, your glass jars, all of the ingredients, apple cider vinegar, all that stuff. And I'm going to teach you about the magical and medicinal properties of each of the herbs, roots, spices, fruits, etc. that you can choose from. And then you'll be able to choose what ingredients go into yours and make your own batch. And someone asked if it would be a good date night. It would be a great date night idea. So if you want to bring someone to a kind of witchy, but not too witchy, we're mostly focusing on making medicine. So we'll touch on some of the spiritual and magical properties of the herbs, but fire cider is a, it's a physical medicine. So we'll be focusing mostly on the medicinal properties of the plants and making medicine for ourselves, some pointers and tips about that. But so it'll be a kind of witchy date night, and it'll be at HQ. It's only $33.33 to participate, but I am only taking 12 people for the in-person session. So if you are interested, you definitely want to RSVP before October 20th. That's when registration ends. So make sure to register by then. Otherwise, you can take the online version. I am going to live stream the workshop on Zoom at the same time, Thursday, October 27th from 5 to 7 Eastern. So if you are not in the New York area, or you just can't make it to HQ that day, but you still want to take the workshop, you can tune in on the online version. And you obviously won't be making your own batch with me, but you can follow along and make a batch. And I have a video here on YouTube all about making fire cider. So if you're curious about what ingredients to use, that you might want to prepare yourself with, what kind of jar to get and all that good stuff, then check out that video. And the description of that video has the full list for you. So just a reminder, the online class you can register for at any time, but the in-person class you have to register by October 20th to join us. Okay. Good night, Laurenberg. Are you planning to teach tarot classes in the near future? I feel like you asked me that already. I plan to teach tarot classes in the future. I don't know how near they are, but that has been asked for quite a bit from folks. So I'm definitely hoping to be working on that. But, you know, that requires putting together a curriculum, getting the class together. You guys know I take things maybe a little too seriously, but I take them seriously. So it's not the case that just because I read tarot, I could just be like, here's a tarot class. Like, a tarot class needs to be created. So once I do that, I will definitely make it available. But and I want to do that. So that's on my very, very, very long list of things that it's just me trying to pull together. So yes, it will happen, but I can't tell you when. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate that so much. Linda has a home business and ships internationally. I would very much appreciate that. Yes, I may message you in the Facebook group or something, because I do want to offer international shipping, and it's just a shit show. Square is not an easy system to work with for online shipping, like just in general, but it is what I have, and it's my system, and I don't want to change that again. I've been all over the place, but shipping internationally through them and with USPS is just like ridiculous. So I appreciate it. What made you want to take your YouTube channel to this level, being more engaged? What motivated you to do this? Well, I wouldn't say that I'm motivated to be more engaged. I am motivated to give more to those who are engaging with me and who are expressing to me through their actions that they actually value and appreciate what I have to offer. So yeah, I don't know if I'm engaging more. I think I'm just making sure that I let people know that it's important to kind of feed energy back into the sources where you get your information. and where you are getting energy from. And if I felt like I was making content that wasn't really valuable, then that would maybe be different. But the feedback verbally that I get from folks is that the content that I create is very valuable, but then the interactions that I get don't really reflect that value from some people. And so I think I just want to make sure that those who do want to engage and evenly exchange for what they receive from me are prioritized, you know? So I think my content will be more tailored in the sense that I won't be creating content for the public if I feel like there's a value to that just watching for free can't compensate, if that makes sense. Like my lives, like I'm live right now, and I'm sure that I may answer questions for folks, and that may be really fantastic and wonderful. But also folks might just be like, you know, this is just kind of a casual gathering or what have you. So I feel like I can make this public and share this with people who are just watching, like literally, like there are some of you who are in here right now, I can see from the analytics, who have not even commented that you're in here. You're just watching, and that's okay. That's fine, right? Because this is a live and we're just hanging out and it's whatever. But if I have taken days upon days to film, edit, upload, create posts, create content to advertise, et cetera, for a video on like how to, oh, that's so funny. A couple people just laughed. Bye, lurkers. You know, like, if I've made a video that's taken me days to make, I, you know, have had to edit it on an editing system, like that costs me money, like I've done all that stuff, then maybe videos like that should not just be available for the public, for the lurkers who hide in the room and can't even be bothered to say hi in the chat, you know, and then scurry away when they're called out. Like those folks maybe don't deserve anything other than a live here and there, you know? Like not from an objective standpoint of like, oh, you don't deserve this, you don't deserve that. I just mean for me, like I don't deserve to make a video that takes time, energy, money, resources, etc., to make, edit, blah, 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 and have it just be consumed by someone who just wants to like lurk around and watch. You know, I don't deserve that. I deserve to make those types of videos for the people that are not only going to actually listen to the things that I have to say in the videos, and apply them, but also then are willing to like say thank you or mention in the comments how much they enjoy it, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I don't know that I'm engaging more. I think I'm engaging with intention more. And I'm not going to, you know, let the desire to have like such and such amount of subscribers or such and such amount of likes and views on a video drive me. Now that's a hard decision to make because obviously my videos are monetized, and even though it's a very small amount of money, it's still an amount of money that I get from views. And if I limit my videos to just Coven members, there are only 50 of us, you know, so by definition, if I post a video just for the Coven members, that means I cannot get 300 views on it. There's only 50 of you to post it to, right? So that could result in a much smaller amount of money paid out to me by YouTube. And that's a little like, but at the end of the day, it's a risk I think I need to take because emotionally and spiritually, it's just too draining to make this type of content for people who are just kind of like consuming. And I have to value that part of myself too. So it's a challenge, but at the end of the day, I think that everyone's going to be happier if I put the bulk of my energy into the coven and making content for them. It may not translate into like more ad money from YouTube, but it will translate into more peace for me. And that's kind of like a priority in my life right now. Bye, Linda. Enjoy dinner. Oh, thank you, Royalty. I'm glad you understand. I appreciate that you guys understand where I'm coming from. You know, I don't know if the greater world out there will, if the other 15,000 folks who subscribe to this channel will understand why like every video I'm posting is members only video. They may not understand, and you know, they may leave. My hope is that they would join the coven for access to these things, but they may say, oh, that's not fair. YouTube is only for free stuff, you know, and unsubscribe. And we'll see if that happens, but we shall see. We shall see. Oh, I gave you confirmation. Yes, Royalty. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. You see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it matters. It makes a big difference. You know, you like the super chat that goes directly into helping to support HQ and the shop that I have, and the community spaces that I'm building through here. But just your words, like just hearing that you are taking something that I said to heart and it matters, and that you could take the time to express that is huge. You know, I have people who I know tune into like live readings and stuff like that, and they'll get huge confirmations. They'll get really important messages come through, and they're just like, all right, peace. You know, they just peace out. They don't, you know, say thank you in the comments. They don't say, hey, that really helped me. Thanks so much, you know, or I didn't know that, or whatever, you know. Just that engagement really matters. It's a lot of just like take, and then leave. And I am not cool with that. Thank you, Royalty. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I need to hear that, you guys. I am a human person and stuff like that really makes a huge difference. And it really helps to keep going, because it really sometimes feels like, why am I doing this? Like, if people are just going to treat me like a glorified Google and just ask me questions that they could find for themselves, and then on top of that, not even say thank you or express that it made any difference to them, it's like, not that I couldn't do it necessarily, but like, do you not see how that could be very draining for a person? And the answer is no. A lot of times people just are not thinking about, you know, we're not often thinking about what other people are going through in any given moment. It's hard enough as it is to just be worried about ourselves. So we really don't. And I think I've realized that you sometimes got to tell people, right, you know, right up front, and say, listen, I need more from you if I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. for you. Then you hope for the best. JB asked me if I'm a horror movie watching witch. That's a great question. I'm not really a big movie person at all. Unfortunately, I am that friend that, like, you know, you will ask, oh, have you seen this? And I'm always like, no. I'm not a big fan of movies. I don't know if it's an attention span type of thing. The reason I tell myself that I don't really like movies, aside from the time commitment, you know, like I got to give you a whole like 2 hours, 3 hours potentially of my time. That's a little hard for me. But aside from the time commitment, I also just find American movies to be really predictable. And I feel like before I even get anywhere near the end, I already understand how the movie has to shake out for us to get to the happy ending. I can tell you which character is probably going to die because they let you fall in love with them a little bit, but they're also expendable. They're not really a major part of the storyline. So by the time they set up who that person is, I know that they probably have to die at some point. So yeah, so somebody said that I have all the signs of adult ADHD because of that, like knowing already what's happening at the end and not being able to focus to confirm it. And I can't say that that's not correct. I'm not formally diagnosed, but it's possible. But anyway, short answer is I'm not really a movie person. So horror movies, definitely not, because if I'm going to watch a movie, it is probably going to be something funny. I very much enjoy adult cartoons for that reason. I like the escaping from life and just having a good laugh. And I feel like that's really all media should be used for. So I like a good laugh. I like a good comedy or a good cartoon. That's also why I don't really like anime. Sorry, I know, womp womp. I don't want to hear it. I don't judge you for liking your animes, but I think anime is not for me because most of the time they're not funny. And I feel like if something's a cartoon, like there's a difference between animation and cartoons. And I like cartoons. I'm not necessarily a fan just of animation. The fact that the characters are animated makes it funnier. And it makes it possible for you to do things or put them into situations that you couldn't do with real people. You know, like drop an anvil on someone's head and have them, you know, walk away alive. Like you can do that in a cartoon. So I like animation to that extent, but like, why am I watching a cartoon that's mad dramatic and making me cry? Like, I have life for that. Because I don't really understand the whole animated drama thing of anime. So, but why do you like horror movies? Were you going to recommend one? Right now in my life, the only reason why I can't, or not can't, but like if you were to recommend a movie, like for me to not see it is really just a time thing at this point. Like I'm open to exploring all kinds of things, even things that I say that I don't really like. So I'll watch a horror movie. Right now in my life, it's just a matter of not having time for like recreational activities, you know? Do you watch anime? It's okay if you do. I hope I'm not offending the anime community. You guys got quiet in the comments. So I may have offended the anime community, but I have lots of anime watching friends and I support you guys 100%. And I know that it's like serious business, the anime situation. So I don't take it lightly. And I know that you guys don't take it lightly at all. And I am okay with that. I totally respect that. But yeah, I like cartoons that make me laugh. And animes tend to make me very sad. Oh, top 5 for me. Yeah, I'm the worst person to ask about like movie things. And then like the movies that I have seen, half the time I can't remember what they were. So I'm always like, that movie with the with the thing. As a kid, we were not allowed to watch a lot of TV. And my mother wasn't a big movie person. Plus, it was expensive. So we didn't really go to the movies very much as kids. So movies never really became a thing for me, like a part of my recreation. I was always reading. That was always my thing. Just reading books, whatever books I could get my hands on. Then I got into the witchy books. My mom probably wished that she let me watch more movies. At that point, she was probably like, oh, shit. I hope YouTube doesn't flag for this music. I said it's copyright free, but yo no sé. Do you guys have any more questions? But yeah, I thought that was funny how there were those couple folks in here that disappeared as soon as I said I can see that there's some of you in here that haven't commented. It's true. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Greatest cartoon of all time. I assume you mean like the series as opposed to like an episode or something. I would say, that's hard because there are cartoons that you love just because they're like nostalgic classics or whatever. I would say probably the best made adult cartoon. Okay, I'm gonna keep it to the realm of adult cartoons because kid cartoons, there's so many like different categories and like different age range, like little kid cartoons versus the cartoons you watch as a kid for like a preteen. All right, I would say kid cartoon, greatest kid cartoon of all time, Rugrats. Greatest adult cartoon of all time, Rick and Morty. So far to date, that's what I would say. I would say Rugrats. Rugrats had the kiddies in a chokehold. Rugrats had the kiddies in a chokehold for many years. We were hooked on the Rugrats, and for good reason. Like I was watching an episode I don't know, last year or something that randomly popped up somewhere. And they were talking about, you know how they would do those little, like the holiday specials where they would tell the stories of like the Jews escaping from Egypt and stuff like that. I was watching one of those episodes, and of course, laced all throughout the episode is about like not discriminating against people who are different and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, Rugrats was like tackling the hard issues without us even really knowing it, you know, as kids. Like they were teaching us the good lessons. I feel like Sesame Street was like that. Sesame Street taught us like deep ass lessons. And I feel like Rugrats was like that. We learned some real deep ass lessons from the Rugrats, you know? We learned about gender inequality with like the parents and like who was a stay-at-home parent versus not. That shit was good. You know, we learned about different ethnicities. The Pickles were Jewish, and then Susie, the little black girl, moved into town. So I was with it, you know. And then Phil and Lil adopted? I think they were adopted. So definitely before its time. And then Rick and Morty is just genius. The creators of Rick and Morty are just on another level. I hope they run for office of some kind. I'll vote because they're really, really good. Really good commentary on society, but not in the right in your face way that South Park did it. You know, South Park was definitely at the forefront of cartoons, adult cartoons, making commentary on society. But South Park just puts it right out in your face and says, this episode is about the Jews. This episode, we're going to make fun of the Mormons. This episode, we're going to make fun of fat people. This episode, we'll make fun of skinny people. Like, you know, so South Park was definitely on the nose with it. Rick and Morty is way more nuanced in its commentary on society. And that for someone who is older now than I was when I was first obsessed with South Park, I appreciate the depth that they take it to. They go deep. Rick and Morty goes deep. But then you get a good laugh as well. So I was watching Rick and Morty last night with my good girlfriend because it was her birthday. So I went to Brooklyn, which I rarely do these days, guys, but I went to Brooklyn to celebrate her birthday with her and her friends. We went to a jazz bar. It was very nice. We had vegan arepas and empanadas, which I can never going to hear me complain about that. And, you know, hung out with the girls, we played a board game or like a card game, some type of meme card game I'd never heard of, but it was fun. And then I spent the night and we laid in bed watching Rick and Morty and laughing. So Rick and Morty is a good one. Are there any decks you find yourself veering towards this season? Also, Venus falls direct of the sun, Saturday the 22nd. Any working ideas for the day? Well, you might be interested in a deck called Words as Wands that we were using quite a bit in the collective readings. The Words as Wands deck is really cool because it's basically a card deck of spells and rituals to do. And you, you know, shuffle them, pull them, and they're broken down into like calling in, releasing, and working with the different elements. So that is a useful deck for what you're talking about, which is you have a particular astrological event and you are thinking of trying to think of what types of spell work would be useful to do during those astrological times. So the Words as Wands deck is nice because it can help you to narrow it down to what you might want to do. I think the most important thing to keep in mind is that it doesn't need to be forced. So I honestly wouldn't really, I wouldn't really approach it that way. I'll be honest with you, Star. Like, I know what you're asking and why, but it's so uncommon for me to approach something from that perspective, in the sense of like, I do spell work because I need to. I do spell work because there's something in my life that I couldn't address with a mundane change. So I needed to go to spirit and ask for some higher intervention. I needed to actually manipulate the energy of the situation in order to bring things in my direction or in my favor, because it was not. And there wasn't anything in the mundane physical world that I could do to make that happen. So I needed to turn to spell work to do it. And then from there, the question is, what is the ideal time for me to work this spell? And there are general parameters, but of course, my specific issue may lead me to choose a different time. So yeah, I wouldn't go about it that way. That being said, Venus falls direct of the sun Saturday. I am no astrologer. So I don't know if this means Venus is going direct. I don't know if that's what you mean by that, but Venus is the ruler of Taurus and Libra, and is an energy that is associated with beauty, the divine feminine, pleasure and comforts, sometimes the home, sometimes justice, but like the balancing of justice. So not just doling out justice from the perspective of like, you wronged me, but from the perspective of something needs to be righted, something needs to be balanced. Venus is very much a harmonious type of an energy. So it wants to be at peace. It wants things to be pleasant. It wants there to be balance in the world. So if you had some need in your life that related to those things, then doing that spell work when Venus is direct or on a Friday, which is ruled by Venus, might be useful, if that makes sense. Yes. Yeah, the Words as One deck is really cool. Hi, Jeanette, welcome. Oh, thank you, JB. Thank you for being here. See you next time, hun. Yeah, yo, Sesame Street vibes all day. Sesame Street really had us, thank God for Sesame Street, because I don't know if our parents were doing as good of a job as Sesame Street was doing at making sure that we were like not bad human beings. And I feel like Sesame Street really held it down in that regard. They really helped us out. I hope Sesame Street is on forever, because the kiddies need it. They should be watching more Sesame Street and less TikTok, if you ask me. That makes sense? Okay, thank you, Star. Thank you for giving me that feedback, letting me know that made sense. But yeah, I like the Words as One deck, because if you are in that space, but like I said, for me, it's like, I do spell work because I need it. So that's the starting point, the why. Why am I doing this spell? I'm doing this spell just because Venus decided to shake her tail feather to the left side of the moon of the third son of Jupiter. I don't know, who cares? Do I have a need in my life that I think that changing things in the mundane can't do, or I've tried changing in the mundane and they have not brought me, those changes have not brought about what I needed. Now we need to start looking at spell work. And then the question is, well, what is it that I need? And then what is going to make the energy right for the spell that I want to do? Is it, and the energy being right can be your space, like creating sacred space. It can be the energy right with you, like maybe taking a bath, doing some type of smudging, cleansing yourself. or making the energy right in terms of picking the right, picking a day or a time that aligns astrologically with your intention. All of these things are all about making the energy right for the work that you're trying to do. Thank you. Just so you know, Star, I don't do a lot of Instagram message stuff. It's always best to send an email. If you have messages about Coven, BronxWitchmembers@gmail.com is the official Coven email address. So that is a way to ask questions about Coven, et cetera, et cetera. If you have questions about the shop emails info@BronxWitch. And if you have questions about my products, classes, or services, Ally@BronxWitch is my email. So those are the best ways to get through to me because I'm very unlikely to check anything in the DMs, just so you know. Just so you know. And honestly, you guys, I encourage you to stop doing that too. Instagram has become such a shit show with the scammers. The scammers at this point have begun buying followers. The scammer pages have just as many followers as the real pages half the time. And there's really just no need for you to be doing anything in the DMs, reaching out, especially reaching out to somebody you've never spoken to in the DMs before. If you want to be absolutely sure that you are talking to the content creator that you would think you are talking to, then I encourage you to find their bios, go to the links in their bios, and communicate through their websites, their email addresses, and the other secure methods of communication that they have made available to you. I would do my best to start moving away from DMing people you don't know about stuff. It's just too shady, and Instagram has made it clear that they are not going to do anything about it. So the best way to interact with content creators, I think, at this point is to use their official channels. Okay, so I don't do a lot of DM stuff for that reason. Look how many grays I have. Can you guys see that? I'm getting a patch right here. I don't know if you can see. I Complete Beauty. Yes, my dear. Hi. Yes. So I see that you're not a Coven member. I think you tried to gain access to the Facebook group. I did message you back, so hopefully you saw that. The Facebook group is only open to Coven members. So you do have to join Coven membership here through YouTube first, and then you will be able to be given access to the Facebook group. Okay, so if you try to gain access to the Facebook group before you have done that, I will check to see if you are on the list of YouTube members. And then if you are not, you will be denied. And then you're welcome to come back and try again once you have actually joined. So, and all the information about how to join the Coven, what comes with your membership and all that good stuff are at bronxwitch.com/memberships. Yes, the DMs are ridiculous. It's just a little, somebody on here was like, I forget who it was. They were like, oh, so you mean the person I've been talking to in the DMs for the last couple of weeks is not you? Yeah, hun, sorry to tell ya. Not me. I'm not having any week-long conversations with anybody in the DMs. Okay. So yeah, the safest bet for sure is to go to the website. You can submit a form, a contact us form on like all the contact pages on the website. But you also will find the appropriate email address for anything you're looking for. Like I said, Coven, bronxwitchmembers@gmail.com. That's our official email address for the Coven. If you have questions about the shop, info@bronxwitch.com. And if you have questions about my products, readings, or services, Ally@bronxwitch.com. And all those email addresses are on the website for you. It's almost 10 o'clock already. Oh, that's because I was like busy talking. I was like, what? But I didn't really start till like 8:30, I think. Hi, Habutu. How are you, darling? Welcome. We were talking about a few things. People were submitting super chats in order to ask questions about witchcraft, tarot, magic, etc. I was talking a little bit about some of the things I have coming up, like the fire cider making workshop and the herbal medicine, my potion pre-order that's going on. And I was kind of talking about just being drained in terms of making content for social media and folks consuming that content, but not really wanting to exchange for that content, and how I am going to be improving that situation for myself by making more of my videos Coven only videos, and putting all of my time and attention really into making things for them. And then making things publicly available only when it really feels right. So I'll probably still do the live collective readings publicly. I do love those, and it feels good to put out that kind of content because it's just kind of general for everybody. But how-to videos and things like that I really want to make, but have been kind of hesitating to make because it feels very draining to do so. That type of stuff I think is going to start becoming Coven only content. Just what I'm thinking about lately. Oh, and we're twisting up my hair. And I don't know what I'm doing. Just trying to figure it out. But the commentary was that it looks like I'm doing okay. So we shall see. We shall see. We shall see. Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate how supportive you guys are about the situation. It's just like, it's so hard, you know, to say that, because like the social media world really makes you feel like getting like someone following you or someone subscribing to your channels is supposed to be like this big thing. And it's like, people really feel offended when you tell them that like it really isn't. I had some chick on Instagram who was like, I don't know what she was looking at, but I guess she made the assumption that I was pregnant. And I posted a post where I was smoking in the post. And first of all, in the post, I didn't say anywhere that I was smoking cannabis. That was an assumption that she made. I make herbal smokes, as you guys know. I smoke herbal smokes more than cannabis at this point. So, but she made that assumption, and she questioned me and was like, oh, you smoke while pregnant? Just curious, not judging, just curious. And I hate when people hide behind the just curious thing when they're clearly judging you and clearly asking you something judgmental. She's like, just curious. And I was like, well, first of all, I'm not pregnant. Second of all, you don't know what it is that I'm smoking. So you are making a lot of assumptions right now that are all wrong. But aside from that, if I were pregnant and I were smoking cannabis right now, just because I posted it on the internet does not actually make it okay for you to question me about it. Like, I feel like that's a very prying type of a question, especially like to ask of a pregnant person what about like questioning a decision that they're making for their body. Like, I just don't do that. I think there's something way too personal about that. And I feel like social media makes people feel like it's okay to like demand an explanation for personal things like that. So I said that to her when I responded. And I was like, I think that your question, even if I were, like, is really rude and really like way too invasive of a question to ask, because like it's different if I was like a content creator about pregnancy, or I was like, I am pregnant and I'm an advocate for doing this or that, or da da da, then that's a little bit different. But my page has nothing to do with pregnancy, has nothing to do with what's good for pregnant bodies or anything like that. I am not pregnant. So you are literally just asking this human being who you have never met in your life, never had a conversation with, don't know from a can of paint, a question about what she is doing or not doing with her pregnant body. I think that's super invasive and super inappropriate of a question to ask on social media or off social media. But social media makes people feel like you're entitled to that type of personal information about a person. And that's basically what she said to me when I responded to her. She was like, excuse me, like, you have a YouTube channel, you have a platform, and your life is public. So like, forgive me for asking you a question, but like, this is not, her point was basically, I shouldn't expect to have anything in my life be private because I post myself on the internet, and then she was like, and, I follow you on, I subscribe to your channel on YouTube, and I have liked a lot of your videos, which is what she said. And she said it just like that too. I subscribe to you on YouTube and I have liked a lot of your videos. So that entitles you to what exactly? You think because you subscribe to my channel and you like my videos that entitles you to ask prying and invasive questions that have nothing to do with the content that I make for this internet? I make content about witchcraft and tarot and spirituality. Why are you asking me about whether or not I'm pregnant and what I do with my pregnant body if I were? Not to mention, you're just wrong because I'm not pregnant. So you're just all the way wrong, but like so sure of yourself. So yeah, so that stuff is just like, it gets really tiring. And people really think that because they subscribe to you or they follow you, or they like something here or there, that they like own you. And, you know, they can say what they want and everything you make is for them. And that model has been really draining to me. And I'm just realizing that I can still be on social media, but I can make it less draining to myself by just having a different, you know, a slightly different approach to how I make that content available. I think, you know, and make it more clear to people that, like, no, you actually don't own me. You don't own me and you don't owe me, you know? So yeah, I'm happy to hear you guys say that you understand where it's coming from, because I think my concern, my fear, you know, is that the automatic assumption is that people are like, oh, well, this person just is trying to, like, you know, get rich off of this platform, or they're only interested in being paid for things. Though honestly, like, what is wrong with that? You know, I think that's a part of the messaging that we're given that kind of keeps us maybe pigeonholed financially a little bit, is this idea that if you love something and that if you're genuine about what you make or what you sell, what you share, that you should be willing to give it away for free. Like, if you're serious about it, if it means something to you, then you should be willing to give it away for free. And if you're not, if you're charging for it, and God forbid, if you're actually like making a good amount of money off of it, then the automatic assumption is that you must not be really genuine. You know, you must be in it for the money. And that must be your primary motivation. And that's not true. And I need to stop letting that messaging impact my decisions for myself and how I run things around here. Because I do run things around here, in case I don't act like it. Yay. Thank you guys for keeping me company while I've been doing this. Got off to a slow start, but I'm on a roll now, which is good, because I'm sure my husband's in the other room wondering when I'm going to be done in here so I can go to sleep. We go to bed pretty early around here. I am in bed most days by like 11. And then I'm up at, my alarm is set for 5:55. And I'm not always successful. But that is the time that I would like to be up every morning. Gosh, I have so many grays, you guys. So many grays. They're all like concentrated in this one part of my head for the most part. If I end up with like a streak of gray, you know, like what's her face from the X-Men, that would be so cool. My aunt has that. My husband's aunt, my aunt-in-law, she has like a streak of gray in her hair in the front, which is so cool. So I would so love that. I would love it. I would love it. Some of these are looking crazy. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any other questions. Probably start getting out of here soon. Double twist, Allie, no single twist. What does that mean? What do you mean no single twist? What does that mean? Oh, you mean like twist them together? You mean like take one and then the other and twist them together? Is that what you mean? I feel like that's so much harder. I feel like I see like stylists do it that way and it looks amazing, but I just feel like that's more work, no? Is that better? You know, like after I do this one, then I'm supposed to take the other one and twist it together too. But I feel like I can, first of all, I can only like see half of what I'm doing, which is probably not good, but I can only see half of what I'm doing because I don't have my contacts on. So I can't see. I feel like that would be very complicated. But is that what you mean? Is that what I'm supposed to be doing? Help me, Leslyn. You have beautiful dreads. Okay. Also, I may have more pins in here than is necessary, but I haven't gotten good at the pin thing either. I'm doing my best here. But is that what you mean by double twist? Twist the individual ones together? Because I see that online and it looks really nice. I don't know. No, take a portion and split it in half, then twist them together. But I've already, no, that doesn't make sense because I've already twisted my hair. Like these are I'm already a few washes in to this lock process. Like I'm not starting my locks right now. I already started them. I had already twisted them. So they're already twisted together. You know what I mean? So I can't really pull anything apart at this point. I will show you. Okay, yeah, next time you're at the shop, you got to show me. Because I can't take apart the twists. Those are already like fused together. You know what I'm saying? But gotta be at the shop tomorrow. We're open 11 to 7. So if you're in the area, stop on by. I will be there. I will be there. It's not difficult. You don't have to take it apart. Okay. All right. Yeah, you have to show me. You got to show me because I'm like, what are you talking about? What? All right. Any more questions, guys? I'm almost done. So I will probably be getting out of here in a minute. Just let me know if you have any more questions. You can drop them in a super chat. Your super chats help to support HQ and this channel. I appreciate you. What am I using to twist my hair? I am using these Peculiar Roots products. This is the aloe vera gel from Peculiar Roots. I don't know if you can see that. It is a Black woman owned dreadlock hair care company that I first noticed online because she invented like a dreadlock brush, which is kind of cool. It's like a brush for brushing your dreads, like to remove lint and things like that. And when I first noticed her, I was like, oh, cool. Let me check what else she has. And she has a whole line of products. So I figured I would give them a try, you know, get started on the right foot and start off with some products that are specifically made for dreads and for good health, good hair health. So that's what we're doing. That's what I'm going with. Yes, good night, Leslyn. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your dread help. I can't wait till you come to the shop so I can see in person what you're talking about. Because you guys, Leslyn has a beautiful head of dreads, nice, long. They're like perfectly spaced and shaped. And she's often got fun colors. Like now they're blue. They've got blue in them right now. So yes, Leslyn, I need your guidance for sure. I could use your guidance. Faux show. Faux show. Yes, no problem. No problem, darling. I got the shampoo, the activated shampoo. I got the mousse, which I haven't used. I just kind of got carried away. The mousse I probably won't use until I start styling my dreads, which is going to be a little while. And then I got the refresher spray, which is really useful for in between washes. It's made with rose water and protein, wheat protein. So it adds moisture and protection to your hair in between washes, and a very nice light scent too. So. Okay, I'll be there, honey. Yes, Jeanette, you're going to be at the workshop. Leslyn, you're going to be at the workshop. I'm excited to see you guys. I'm excited to go shopping. I love an excuse to go shopping. So the Tuesday before class, our workshop's going to be on Thursday. The Tuesday before, I'm going to the farmer's market to get all of our ingredients. So I'm excited for that part. I love getting ready. All right. Well, I don't think there are any more questions coming in. I really enjoyed this, so I will definitely go live for a Q&A or a hangout session again. Maybe the next time I retwist my hair. Maybe that's something we do publicly, like the live tarot, the collective readings, and like anytime I wash my hair, I'll do publicly. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for listening in. Thank you for your questions. Thank you so much for your super chats. They mean so much to me. They go to supporting this channel and supporting HQ, our physical space, our spiritual shop and work share space in the Bronx. So I'm so grateful for you and I thank you so much. And if you are interested in anything BronxWitch, you can pretty much find everything on bronxwitch.com. Please be careful of the scammers out there, guys. There's only one BronxWitch. I have one Instagram channel or page for BronxWitch, and I have one for my shop, BronxWitch HQ, and that is it. If you are talking to somebody in the DMs, that is most likely not me. The appropriate ways to reach me are through my website, That is the best way for you to make sure that you are actually talking to me. So. You like the Dark and Lovely Jam Condition and Shine Extra Hold. Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't want to go with like a gel. I wanted to do, there were good reviews about this. We'll see. I have a lot to learn. And I have a ways to go in this product. So, but once it's done, we'll see how I feel if I want to switch it up. But I really like, so far, I haven't had any buildup or anything like that, which I tend to have a huge problem with. I get built up really easily. So far, so good. So we shall see. All right. Thank you guys for hanging out. This was a lot of fun. There will definitely be a new Better Witch podcast episode dropping next week, Tuesday at 7 p.m. So I am so glad that you guys took the time to hang out and do this with me instead. And next weekend, we will be back to our regularly scheduled programming. All right. Thank you guys. Have a great night. If you are looking for me, I'm at the shop. Come and find me. And if you need private readings or anything like that, just use the links and stuff in the description of this video. Blessed be.